Queenslanders trying to return home from Victoria and New South Wales are flying to the Northern Territory to quarantine. Matt Cunningham is live in Darwin for us. Matt, why are they not just quarantining in their home state?
Well, it would appear that the paperwork required by the Queensland government is a bit too arduous, Tom. People who are returning to Queensland need to fill out that documentation to get a Queensland border pass. Now, people from travelling there from Victoria and those hotspots in New South Wales have to go into quarantine, but they're saying that the process is too difficult. In some cases, they're being forced to wait weeks just to get that border pass. So some of those people, we were told by the Chief Minister this morning, are getting around that process by actually flying here to the Northern Territory and doing 2 weeks quarantine at the Howard Springs Workers Village. Here's Michael Gunner addressing this issue this morning.
Now, we've seen a number of people choose to quarantine in the Northern Territory to enter into Queensland. Obviously, we support free movement in this country, and there's been part of the conversation around the legality of our border closures and how you can manage that. We've had different advice to others around turnbacks, and we've obviously gone through the 14-day quarantine policy process, which is the best in class, and that is seeing some people choose to quarantine here before moving into Queensland.
We know the Queensland government has announced today that it will open its borders to some more parts of New South Wales, but large parts of New South Wales and Victoria, of course, remain closed. Michael Gunner says he's spoken to his Queensland counterpart, Anastasia Palaszczuk, about this issue. Here's how that discussion went.
So it does perform that capacity. I've joked about sending an invoice to Anastasia, but at the moment we're happy to help. If it was pressure, I'd be raising it more strongly. It's just some of the numbers at Howard Springs come from, well, at the moment, the Victorians and Sydney-siders. Those Sydney-siders will drop off soon. Victorians who want to access into Queensland.
Been lots of discussion, Tom, about these border issues. Polling today showing that the Queensland government is probably on a good thing with the voters when it comes to those border closures. We saw that play out here in the Northern Territory ahead of last month's election, although there's been a very different tone from the government since it won that election when it comes to those border measures. No more talk of those hard border measures being in place. In fact, now they're trying to encourage people to come to the Northern Territory.